Today we're coming to you live from underneath Daisy as she once again proves that a camper van is a project that is never actually finished. I suppose this story starts with Mabel, our previous camper van, using the term very loosely. I built a bed in the back of it and we used it for our adventures. Now when Mabel eventually died, having done 500,000 kilometres, I decided what I was going to do was make a proper camper conversion. Unfortunately I'd never done anything like this, so this was going to be a lot of trial and no doubt a lot of error. But here you are, me, Daisy. And the criteria was, this time it had to be something wide enough for me to lie down in and tall enough for us to stand up in, with enough space for a great big Greyhound. So what we were looking for was a medium wheelbase, medium height Fiat Ducato that I could also use for work. And by sheer luck, a local van dealer had the exact vehicle I was looking for, even down to having 2 seats in the front instead of having a big bench seat.
And why do we need a big camper van? Well, that's because we go and do parkrun every weekend, and parkrun has taken us here, and well, yeah, you get the idea. We do quite a lot of parkrunning. Usually we're away every weekend, and obviously DeNiro is quite a big dog, so the thoughts behind the van were something big enough to actually use, and yeah, I think we've got that. This is Stranraer, which is a place, well, it's got a parkrun, that's about the best thing you can say about it. It was quite a good parkrun. It was a bit unpleasant weather-wise, but we quite enjoyed it, and as Daisy has now got a proper diesel heater fitted, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't absolutely freezing cold, but yeah, it wasn't warm. But hotels are expensive, and once you've got a camper van, you've got a camper van. This is the beautifully salubrious car park that we stayed in last night. There is Daisy looking a bit grotty and in need of a bath. The car parks all the way along the front have got no overnight parking, no sleeping in vehicles on them, and then you get to this one and it hasn't, so this is where we stayed. And the park run was just in that park over there. DeNiro is only interested in what's at the end of this road. The dog is a little bit excited. Now we have checked that there's no one about, so ready? On the count of 1, go! Hey, happy grey, don't run into anything. There we go. It's abandoned. We were down here this morning for parkrun and there was not a soul here, and yeah, looks like just now there's also not a soul here apart from a lady in the red coat down there. And once again I've got the pirate one sunglass eye and one non-sunglass eye. I can't help thinking I look ridiculous, but I keep trying to take it off before I film and I keep forgetting to put it back on again. I can't actually see what I'm doing. Not implying that I know what I'm doing, but you know what I mean. DeNiro, I'm sorry, it's not really a very zoomy beach. It's very pebbly and lots of sharp bits, so be careful. DeNiro is now visiting the famous shopping trolley graveyard in Stranraer. This is where shopping trolleys come to die. Those shopping trolleys, actually, they're Tesco shopping trolleys, if you're interested, but you're probably not. But they have been pushed quite a long way from Tesco just to be dumped on the beach. I wonder why. I cannot get my head in. They've pushed these shopping trolleys, it must be about a mile to put them here. Slightly disappointed by the beachcombing situation on this beach, especially as every single tip you ever go to you find these. I mean, they must come from round here somewhere. I wonder where they dump the rubbish. One of the best things about parkrun is the cafe afterwards, and this is the Alexandra cafe, which was quite nice. A nice cup of coffee and a nice scone. And after we'd had our cup of coffee and a scone, it was time to go and explore the local area, see if we could find any treasure. And how successful was that? Well, that depends very much on your definition of treasure. Like a lot of these wee west coast towns, the centre of Stranraer was depressingly a little bit run down. Lots of empty shop units and inevitably a W.H. Smith. Charity shop wise, well, lots and lots of jigsaws as always, and as not always, lots and lots of the same Lego education sets. I meant to buy one of these, I forgot to go back to the shop. Maybe this absolute gem of an album cover distracted me. But at the top of the same rack there was this. I had that when I was a kid. I think we found that same thing up in Orkney as well. Wee bit of history wise, well, there's this bit of rock with some hooks in it and no idea what that was for, but it was in front of this rather impressive building. This is the Castle of St John, according to the sign outside, and unfortunately it was closed because it did look quite interesting. A fairly impressive abode and seat of power for whoever was in charge here back in the day. But was this the most intriguing thing that we found in Stranraer? No, it wasn't, and no, we couldn't figure out what the words round that window said. Nope, this was definitely the high point of the trip. Charity shop mystery bags for £2.50. I tried to persuade Bex. She really wanted to buy one. She wasn't convinced. So I bought 2. And if you want to find out what's inside these bags, probably watch next week where we'll be opening them to find out all the treasure. Well, goodbye to Stranraer. Let's go back to our rebuild blog for Daisy.
Bex had some pretty good ideas about what she wanted to have in a proper camper van, and she was soon sending me photographs that she found on the internet. Unfortunately, these all look to be extremely high quality. I'm not sure I can get anywhere near this. But we got Daisy home, and having had her checked over mechanically, make sure there was nothing major wrong with her, apart from a strange penchant to belch out white smoke from time to time, it was time to get started. Now, obviously what I should do is sit down and make a detailed plan and draw it all out, but how well do you know me? So this is going to be the dog's accommodation, accessible from the back, and our bed on top, and lots of living room. And in the back, if I need to get stuff out for work, it's here, and if I need to get DeNiro out, he's in there. How cool is that? Really pleased with myself. It's not very often I think something goes particularly right, but this is looking particularly right. And ignore that, I've just reused bits that I took down from there for now, because none of this is permanent. We'll see how Bex likes it, and we'll see how DeNiro likes it. The next part of the conversion, such as it is a bit of insulation and a bit of soundproofing. And for that, I use this stuff, which is actually floor underlay, but it's got foil on it, so it's going to be quite thermal and it's quite soundproof. So I've already put some on the floor there. I should really film this as I'm going, but I keep forgetting. And I've started lining the roof, so it'll be a layer of that green stuff for a vapour barrier, then a layer of this, and then a layer of whatever we roof it with. I'm thinking wood of some sort, no idea what, but that's the story so far. So there's all the leisure battery and electrics. There's the dog's bed, and there's our bed, which is presently full of junk. It's amazing how quickly you accumulate junk. Anyway, on with the lining of the roof. To try and get anywhere near Bex's desired standards for the inside meant buying a proper campervan interior. Unfortunately, have you seen the price of proper campervan interiors? Yeah, we're off to IKEA. The first of Daisy's internal furniture. So if you're in IKEA, you pretty much have to do this. No, you're a big kid. Whee! Oops, he just crashed. I was having fun, and people walked around the corner and looked at me like I was, well, you know what they look at me like I'm. And it's time to start constructing the IKEA furniture that I'm hoping will be suitable for inside the van, but it's not the best of quality, as you might expect from IKEA. But if you buy a proper van fitting out kit, it's very expensive. This is hopefully going to be as good almost, and not as expensive. And because we'll be doing more than just overnights in the van, we needed some running water as well. So this is one of those tap kits that you get on eBay that's actually surprisingly good quality. The sink is on its plinth and organised. Just as well, because that unit has got wet at the bottom at some point and it started to rot already. Top IKEA quality, but it's on a wooden plinth now, so it should be okay. I'll show you that later. That is quite a lot of rust. The first jobs that were done were tidying up inside. Oops, I better unlock it. This is much more impressive if you can actually see it getting unlocked. Anyway, there you go. The sink unit has been sorted out a little bit. I've tidied things up, I've moved things about, and at the charity shop this morning I found this box, which was too big, but it was cheap. So I bought it and I've cut it and made it smaller so it fits, and it's got a bottle opener. Always going to be handy, that, a bottle opener. Got to tidy the clothes up there, but round the back, this took me ages, but that thing is now freed off and can be removed so I can fit my deck, but it's it does that, so if you've got a tow bar, you can fold it out the way when you've got the tow bar on, and it's taken me literally all day to get it freed off. It was rusted absolutely solid. As you can see, you can probably build another one from the rust that's lying on the floor. Quite a lot of progress today, none of which actually cost me any money, apart from the little box, which is quite cool. I've fitted bits to stop things sliding about in there, so bungee straps, so nothing's going to fall out. So I think we're good. I think this is one step forward, or several steps forward. And this thing here, which is a big unit, is going to go there, I hope. The problem being this wall is not straight and there's lots of lumpy bits, so let's see how we get on. Yeah, slightly apprehensive about this. But you know I'm taking it seriously, I've got a proper pencil. It can only start going wrong now that I get the sort out. If you're wondering why we picked IKEA furniture, it's A, because it's quite cheap, and B, because it's quite light, because it's only distantly related to wood. The middle is all cardboard, so it's lighter and yeah, less weight in the back of the van. Always a good thing. That's really worked, not bad, I'll have that. Permission to look slightly smug. That side was much easier because there's much less of it to chop off. So there we go. That's get far enough back. There is the storage unit. Getting there. that is that in and secured with lots of extra brackets and stuff because we don't want it moving. There will be more framing going around it eventually, and it's also got, most importantly, somewhere to charge up their phones. Ignore those holes, they need to get filled. But apart from that, that is the major storage unit for Daisy done. And now we're on to a little toilet enclosure. A little box to hide the toilet because it's not the prettiest thing in the world. Oh, and lurking in the corner is something that I've had for a lot of years. This is our bin, because obviously living in a van, you need a bin. But wait till you see this. And if that means nothing to you, get yourself watching some Doctor Who. So this is another update on the progress of Daisy and how we're doing compared to our shoestring conversion budget. And the answer to that is quite well so far. So we've got the bed, obviously, and the Greyhound accommodation that you've seen previously, which is large and salubrious, and he doesn't seem to mind. A big storage space at the moment is full of junk. And then the first of our IKEA units, which is needs another shelf, so I can get got two of these sort of storage bags. Idea being that Bex and I will have a storage bag each, and the shelves will just be used for other stuff. Possibly not cups, that might be a bit rattly. Anyway, there you go, that is that. And beside it is the little IKEA hall box that is will have hinges. Not got the hinges yet, but look with me. There you go, that is the toilet compartment. Out of sight, so it's not quite as obvious when you first see the van. And my favourite thing is the thing that's behind me. There we go. That is our sink unit that, to be fair, you might have spotted in the background. Now, camping sinks are very expensive. This was a cheap one. This is a washroom type sink, and it was it was only 50 quid instead of over 100. And a little tap and some tanks of water, waste tank and freshwater tank. So we have, ta-da! Running water. That is a game changer. Stuff in here is still to be organised properly. That'll be Bexy's department, but there's cups and plates and bowls and stuff. And this neat little box that I found in a charity shop. It's obviously Ryobi's giveaway promotional thing, but it's now holding coffee, mostly. So that is Daisy almost ready to go. We've got the bed, we've got the dog's bed, we've got places to store lots of dog food that you can't get into it after the last little escapade, and we've got running water and a toilet. What more could you possibly need for adventures? Well, we'll find out. Still got to do all of this roof lining and all of the wall lining and stuff, but yeah, that'll happen once we're sure the design is right and nothing has fallen off. Wish us luck. I hope we don't have to ever break too suddenly, but I always think that about camper vans. Oh, DeNiro, how would you like to be even more famous than you are already? Look what's arrived! Oh, I'm excited. Can you tell? This is my excited face. One problem that we've noticed with the van is in the winter it gets extremely cold. You never really noticed in Mabel, because in Mabel you were always in bed. This has got sitting space, and when you sit it's chilly, so we have bought this. Time for one of those really boring unboxing videos that pretentious people do, but we've got ourselves a diesel heater. So this is what I'm going to fit today, and I'll probably forget to film it while I'm doing it, and all you'll see is it actually done at the end. So there you go, a cheap diesel heater from eBay, but as you can see it is UKCA and CE marked, which means it should hopefully be safe. We've also added a carbon monoxide alarm because, yeah, don't entirely trust Chinese engineering. And then it went wrong. All that working on the van was all well and good, but what I should really have done was made sure that the spare wheel wasn't seized absolutely solid into its cradle, and the wheel nuts on the wheels were actually able to be loosened off, because as it turned out we got a puncture and I could not get the spare wheel off, and even the recovery man could not get the wheel nuts loosened. So yeah, poor old Daisy ended up on the back of a recovery truck and I had to do something about the spare wheel. Okay, another day, another project. After the horrors of getting the spare wheel out from under the van, because that's a spare wheel and it should be under there, and the mechanism was all jammed and horrible, so I'm going to put the spare wheel in here, so it's always going to be dry and easily accessible. So a bit less storage space, but I don't think we're exactly short of storage space, so let's see how this goes. So the thought is, that's obviously DeNiro's bed, so in case of a big crash we don't want a spare wheel going to visit him. So these metal beams will be bolted through the bottom of the van and be secure and have plates underneath, etc. And then the spare wheel will be strapped to that. So if there's a big crash, it's going to take a really, really big crash for the spare wheel to get in there. And a crash big enough for the spare wheel to get in there. We're going to have more things to worry about an hour later. That is that. This is all bolted in underneath the van, bolted through the van, so it's all solid. It's going to be that's going to get tied to those with a ratchet strap, and then anything happens, the wheel's not going anywhere. That is the theory anyway. It depends how severe the thing that happens is, I suppose. And it actually turned out that the puncture was a bit of a blessing, because when we put Daisy in to get that fixed, they said we needed 2 new tyres. So 2 new tyres on equals more safety, we hope. But with that, she was finally mechanically ready. I could change any punctures, I could deal with anything that happened while we were out and about. So let's get out and about and use her for its first proper adventure. It was the night before parkrun, and all through the van Bex was cooking because she can. And DeNiro is down there thinking, sausages, I'd like some sausages please. So this is our highly salubrious kitchen, and that's my highly salubrious Bex, who is, it's her turn to cook. I cooked last time, honest.
He didn't.
Slander! And do you like our plant collection? That's our lovely, wonderful IKEA plastic plants for a bit of ambulance. You've all seen the cooking department. There's our little stove and the mess that has been left by our dinner, and obviously dog biscuits. There has to be... But the dog's had all the biscuits and some sausage. He doesn't want any more biscuits. He's not even getting up.
And we interrupt our build blog to bring you a public service announcement. If you are ever visiting Stranraer, and why wouldn't you, you've got to go to the community reuse shop, and it just took me 3 attempts to say reuse. It's next to the tip, and things that are destined for the tip get diverted here if they're any good, which means it's got lots and lots of treasure at very, very reasonable prices. We bought quite a lot, lots of games and lots of books, and yeah, it's an amazing charity shop. Wholeheartedly recommend it. We even got this, a Greyhound racing DVD game, but we did not buy this. Although apparently it's compulsory if you visit the shop, you've got to play the piano on the way in. We didn't. But that's enough charity shopping for now. Let's get back to our wee story about Daisy. Have you noticed that it's lots of bits and pieces that I filmed and then tried to put into some semblance of order? I should have been more we really should always be more organised and actually film things properly, but hey ho.
And here we go. This is the grand crochet project. Go! Yay! Now, for our next trick, when she drops that, she's going to vanish from behind it. That is Bexy's crochet blanket that she's made for the van.
And waste not, want not, with the extra bits of wool, I made 2 nice cushion covers to go with it. And this is for our bed in the van.
And that also explains why there's now 2 cushions missing from our living room. You've nicked 2 of our cushions to put new cushion covers on, haven't you?
I've not nicked them, I've repurposed them.
It's been a wee while since we've had an update on Daisy progress, so let's go and make some progress. The reason it's been a wee while is we've been far too busy using the van to have any time to do anything with it, so let's get on and get it looking a bit more professional. This is the bed end. One of the advantages of Daisy as a Ducato is she's actually wide enough for me to lie from side to side. So what we're going to do now is insulate these end bits where the heads and feet go, and that is going to be done with more of this stuff, but this time it's going to be covered in carpet. Daisy is going to have an anthracite inside. Anthracite just means dark grey apparently, but that's the carpet, and that is lots and lots of glue, so let's get down to it. Basically the plan is that the sort of framework there, that bit and the bit down the middle, are going to be covered in carpet that goes on to where that green stuff is, and then inset panels are going to do the rest, which should make it look quite neat. This is how I did Mabel, our ex-camper van, so yeah, it should look okay, I hope. Let's get on with it and find out. So there is the first bit of lining stuck in with some insulation underneath it. And you get the idea. Like that. Once the rest of it is all done. Hang on, let me zoom out a little bit. There you go. That's going to go like that. Should look pretty good. So, there you are. You get the idea. I'm going to crack on now and get more of this done, and I'll show you when I've finished. So, it's an hour and a bit later, and that is the bottom half done. I've not done the top bit yet, because I've not actually decided what I'm going to do with it. But over there, that looks very camper van and less ordinary van-like, I think. Now, I have recently encountered this stuff. It is interlocking foam mat, which is about that thick there. And I was going to use this for the floor in the van because obviously we've got a dog and it gets a bit messy. But I'm thinking I could just stick that to the walls and the ceiling as well, and that would be like a proper thick layer of insulation. So that's exactly what I'm now going to go and do. And I am rubbish at YouTube because I was supposed to film this as I was doing it, but that is the ceiling. It's got a layer of that green foam, a layer of the silver foam, and then it's got the thick black foam, and then finally it's got some wood, which I think looks quite nice. We painted it with grey fence paint before we put it up. Only problem is, I put it all up, and since I put it up it's all contracted a little bit. Yeah, I think rustic is the word you use. It looks rustic. It looks good, but it looks and have you just noticed who's in the background? That is that's another charity shop find. That is Euphemia. Euphemia the unicorn. Cool is that? Dare I say it, we're just about at the finishing touches. Woohoo! That means more IKEA stuff. These doors for the sink unit. So yay, we're almost there. One of the major things that lets down Daisy's appearance at the moment as a proper camper van with a bed and lining is this rusty old step on the back. So today I'm going to try and get this off, and so far it's not been very successful. It's taken me longer than I want to admit to even get it to tip up out the way, and I think once I get all this rusty rubbish off, that's going to have to stay, because that's bolted on by those, and those are definitely not for moving. But if I can get that off, I might be able to put like a bit of something else, a bit of wooden deck or a bit of something across there, because I quite like having a step at the back. It's somewhere to sit and it helps DeNiro get into the van. But first of all, we've got to get this thing off, and it's held on by two big metal rods and two of these little clippy bendy things that I'm now trying to remove. So this is number one, and it's quite shiny. If I get that one off, the other one is substantially less shiny. This bit of the van has never been maintained, and I've never seen another van with one of these type of steps on it, so they must have all rotted away completely. All of this excitement trying to get that step off the back of the van meant that I was kind of neglecting DeNiro, who had decided that he wanted to get some attention, so he started barking, which he never ever does. So I heard the dog barking and went upstairs to this. Is it dinner time? Are you telling me it's dinner time? What a difference a couple of minutes makes, because he had his dinner and then went straight back to his bed. DeNiro, you don't look very comfortable. Why are you not looking at me? Is it bedtime, is it? Oh dear. And later, much later, the split pin things have gone. So now all I've got to do is get these metal hinges out. This is going to be really boring television, but it's going to be an excellent reminder for me when I'm old and infirm about what I achieved. And there it is. It's a good job that the rest of the van was not in the same state as that step, because it is this is the rust that's fallen off it while I've been hitting it with a hammer, and that's the bit that's left. But I think that bit might have to stay for now, because I ain't going to be able to get those off. They are rusted absolutely solid, but if I clean that up and paint it black, it'll look a bit better, methinks. But before DeNiro and I head off exploring, I had to do some shopping, because Daisy is now complete apart from one thing. We have a gin shelf, but we didn't actually have any gin glasses, so I've just been charity shopping in Cheadle. Not very exciting, but did find some gin glasses. Quite exciting. Okay, they're Gordons, but we'll not hold that against them. Another slightly beyond me piece of crafting happening for the van. This is the last thing, and this is going to be a glass holder. Don't say I'm not pulling out all the stops. I really am not great at woodwork, and there's sawdust everywhere, but this is my finished creation for today. So yeah, this is certainly something that's going to be, what's the word? Oh yeah, unique. And there it is. Not bad for a couple of hours work. Unfortunately, I've put the things too close. If you have the glasses sort of side by side, they are going to clatter a lot whilst driving. So yeah, I'll have to get some Prosecco flutes to go with the gin glasses. Don't worry, we're not getting posh. It's all going to be from the charity shop. Oh, further Daisy developments. A large box has arrived. Can anybody guess what is in it? I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to show you once I've built it. I'll give you a clue. It's from Flamma, who make things that you're about to see.
Bex isn't in, so please don't tell her that I was actually building this new bike rack for Daisy on the bed.
And it is done. That is the bike rack fitted. Unfortunately, along with the vent on the roof, it does kind of do away with the stealth camping thing. It's obviously now a camper van, but hey ho, it's better than having the bikes rattling about inside and damaging my lovely IKEA units. Sorry, I mean our lovely IKEA units.
And that is it for this week's wee episode. We do hope you've enjoyed it, and if you're building a camper van, we do hope we've given you some ideas. We'll hopefully see you next week.